Since my product is a mockumentary, a convention that I use is the narration produced by the presenter, having a satirically comedic tone. An example of this would be in which the presenter character, Dave Rasnabara, states a narration during a shot of the Brontosaurus characters. A similar narration is produced in the mockumentary The Majestic Plastic Bag, in which the narrator states dialogue about a plastic bag in a way that resembles a nature documentary, in an exaggeratingly dramatic mode of address. This convention I use to represent the mockumentary genre and the documentary's satirical tone, producing a comedic effect on the audience. I have also followed the narrative convention of the comedy genre in which an unsympathetic comedy protagonist is given retribution. This is represented as Ratnabara, who has previously lost his temper, killed a Triceratops, and destroyed a camera out of anger, is viciously attacked by a Velociraptor. This is a classic narrative convention that has been used in various successful comedy products, including Bruce Almighty, Tom and Jerry, and Blackadder, which I use to satisfy the audience in having the negative character get his comeuppance in a comical manner, pleasing both audiences who either liked or disliked the character for his negative personality. Additionally, a major documentary convention I used was the varied use of camera shots and editing techniques like close-ups, high-angle shots, and the use of cross-cutting during the sequences that only include the dinosaurs. This style has been produced in Walking with Dinosaurs, March of the Penguins, and Planet Dinosaur, to have the audience feel that they are at a close proximity to the animals, which I also attempted to produce. To represent the documentary genre, I used the convention of the censor beep sound effect that is normally used to replace cursing, which is used in the end of my product, in which Ratnabara loses his patience with the dinosaurs and aggressively rants and curses. This sound effect has been used in documentaries like Top Gear and Big Brother for the same reason. However, in those products, the cursing was unintentional by the producers, and the sound effect was only used if a presenter or cast member was to do so, whereas the cursing in my product was intentional and included in the screenplay, and the sound effect was actually used to produce a stronger comedic effect, rather than just to censor the cursing. I've also developed the presenter character by having him be an unsympathetic comedy protagonist, rather than the generic mockumentary convention of a casual presenter that is just a comical satire of a generic documentary presenter, like in The Majestic Plastic Bag. Most of the influence for his personality was inspired by presenter Jean-Michel Cousteau in the short comedy documentary Exploring the Reef, in which he tries to present a nature documentary with a calm tone, but is constantly interrupted by Finding Nemo characters to the point at which he loses his temper. However, Ratnabara, despite also only showing his negative traits when annoyed, has a comically sadistic and irresponsible personality, which is shown as he kills a Triceratops for embarrassing him, therefore emphasizing his negative characteristics to a comedic, malicious tone. A convention I also developed was the dinosaur image compilation usually produced during the opening sequence of a dinosaur nature documentary, as seen again in Walking with Dinosaurs, Planet Dinosaur, and Prehistoric Park. However, while these were moving images and previews of how the dinosaurs would appear later, the dinosaur images in the compilation sequence of my product are all still images. This represents the images more as ideas of how the dinosaurs would look like, rather than how they would actually appear, and therefore contrasting with how the dinosaurs are represented later. While I have used and developed various genre conventions as previously stated, I have challenged a few as well. For example, despite the documentary mostly having a style that mostly resembles the nature documentary with a direct cinema style, Ratnabara intentionally interferes with an event that is recorded as he kills a Triceratops. This therefore represented the character more negatively in this irresponsible character trait and emphasized the mockumentary genre. My product also challenges the documentary genre convention that the presenter has a professional and a mature manner, which can be viewed in documentaries such as Countryfile and Ratnabara and the Giant Dinosaur. The challenging of this convention is represented as presenter Ratnabara steadily reveals his true immature personality as he begins shouting in an aggressive tone and sulk openly, which is unconventional for a generic documentary presenter. Also, an obvious nature genre convention that my product challenges is that instead of dinosaurs being formed through the editing technique of CGI, as seen in Walking with Dinosaurs and Planet Dinosaur, I have formed them through the use of stop motion, which I use to further the comical effect of the documentary by having the animation be crudely animated to emphasize the mockumentary genre and satirical tone. So, I use the genre and narrative conventions of my product that are generally positively received by various audiences, while I develop some of these conventions to emphasize the comedic tone of my product and to attract a wider audience range who may be interested in dark comedies. And I also challenge the genre conventions of serious documentaries to represent the satirical tone and mockumentary genre of the product.